there's also an effect which I think is a negative effect of cannabis, and which is one of the reasons why governments and industrial civilizations try to suppress it, which is that because it produces a kind of physical relaxation which allows the mind to expand and journey and one's psyche to connect and so on. This, I think, the other side of that coin is that there's a kind of toning down and tuning down of the whole springs of action of the body. So one's perfectly content to sit around doing not very much. It doesn't produce a tremendous urge to go and empty the dustbin or do chores around the house and that kind of thing. And indeed it's this kind of activity which is easily identified by external observers as physical laziness, which is the reason for its bad reputation in countries where it's habitually used. And in Kashmir, for example, I was staying in Srinagar at one stage. I had an agricultural project in Srinagar, and I was staying with a friend who was studying Kashmiri Shaivism. So I had my job, and then I was staying with this fellow, and we were talking about this. And he said, well, have you ever been to one of these shrines where, Sufi shrines, durgas, where cannabis smoking is tolerated as part of the standard pattern of society, but where you see why there is a negative image of this, hashish smoking in such societies, which you also get in Egypt and so on. I mean, some of the middle-class image of cannabis smoking in India and in Malaya and elsewhere is a bit like the middle-class image of winos and methylated spirit drinkers and so on in the West. We went to the shrine, which was the shrine of a Sufi saint, and attached to it was a smoking room, and this room was full of people smoking hashish, sitting around the walls, and there was a place there where you could buy it. So we sat down and had a puff, and it was a dreadful revelation to me when the man sitting next to me spoke to me in Urdu, and he got bleary eyes, he got several days' growth of stubble, he was in ragged, smelly clothes. He pulled out a picture of himself, a kind of identity card thing, himself smart in a uniform, said, I used to be a bus driver until I started smoking. Now look at me, that's what it's done to me, he said as he took another puff. I've lost my family, I've lost everything. And so there was a kind of the negative, the shadow side of it, which I saw then more clearly than ever before or since, which certainly fitted with what rather prim middle-class people in Malaya and India and in other Oriental countries had told me about its habitual usages, which made it clear how it could accumulate this negative image, how it could cause alarm in people who don't want the habit to spread in modern, efficient industrial societies. And this is certainly associated in my own experience with the fact that the mental expansion is bought at the price of a certain physical lethargy. So I wonder if that's been your experience.